What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Now kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me. I hate to say it, it feels like those Uconn Huskies are in some trouble. They are in some deep water, some quicksand, and they are sinking down currently. And I feel terrible for Pagie Bueckers, who is out there giving her all, getting buckets, getting triple teamed, trying to will this young Uconn Husky team to victories throughout a gauntlet of a schedule right now. Now they've got 3 losses, but every loss has been to a current top 5 team right now. You talk about NC State, you talk about Texas, and you talk about UCLA. Those are 3 brutal opponents. I digress, though. The Huskies are beat up. It's no secret. We know the injuries are there. But Paige Bueckers needs some help. But before we get into it, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest. And join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now, let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
So the latest top 25 poll came out. Uconn women's basketball dropped to number 17 in the top 25. This is the lowest ranking they've had since the 93-94 seasons. Now the Huskies were ranked number 10, lost to Texas on the road, as we mentioned. It was brutal. They scrapped, but man, Texas was a little too much to handle. This was their 3rd defeat of the year. They now have more losses at this point in the calendar year than any other Uconn team since 1986-87. And that was Gino Auriemma's 2nd year in charge. They are historically bad right now. Their 3 defeats we mentioned came to number 2 UCLA, number 3 NC State, and number 5 Texas. That is a gauntlet of a schedule. We can't say they're not battle tested, and they're definitely not ducking any smoke. Now, all of these games were on the road, so that's something to say. They have currently the top strength of schedule in the nation so far, according to the Massey ratings. We know they're beat up. AZ Fudd, torn ACL. Jana El Alfie, ruptured Achilles, and they're both out for the season. Caroline Deschamps has neck spasms, and Ayanna Patterson's out with a knee injury. Both of them out indefinitely. That's at least 2 of those players who could have been starters, and all 4 were set to be contributors in this rotation. That list of injuries would be tough for any program in the nation to overcome. I'm just saying, they do deserve a little grace. Looking at their schedule, they've beat Dayton. They have a ranked win against Maryland that was a complete blowout, and that's where things really felt like they were starting to get going. Then, of course, the homecoming for Paige in Minnesota, they did work there. Then they lose to UCLA in a tough-fought, hard-fought effort. They come back and beat Kansas and then get their doors blown off by Texas to drop to 4-3 on the year. Looking at the stats, Bueckers is averaging 19.6 points per game. Basically a 20 ball, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and almost 2 steals. She's doing everything she possibly can. And if you look at the numbers compared to her freshman season when she took the world by storm, she's on par on points and rebounds, and she's playing way less minutes. She's playing almost 7 minutes less a game and almost averaging back to that freshman season. Look, she is hooping. She is back. Bueckers is back, straight up. And her assists are down, but it's only because she is legitimately the only scoring threat on the perimeter right now for this team. I mean, she's doing everything, fighting. She's exhausted. She looks exhausted out there. She's taking everybody's best shot. She's fighting through double teams, triple teams, like whatever it is to get a bucket. She is working extremely hard. And you can tell, man, like she's definitely back. She's in that mode. I think she's still working back a little bit with like the fatigue and everything, just because she's getting back in the game shape somewhat. But as far as the skill set and her just going out there wreaking havoc, giving out 20 balls, she has like 4 20-point games so far this season, 5 20-point games. She's giving out cold buckets to anybody in front of her. The acceleration is still there, the finishing ability at the cup, like she's getting it wherever she can fit in. Paige Bueckers is definitely 100% back. Let's not get it twisted, but she needs some help. Aaliyah Edwards has been a little banged up, but she's the second option on this team by default and a potential top 10 draft pick. She's averaging 15.6 rebounds. They need her to grab more boards straight up, and almost 2 assists and 2 steals a game. They need to see those blocks go up too. There's no way her and Bueckers should be averaging the same amount of blocks. She's also playing 30 minutes a game, but she is their horse down low. She is their go-to, their key to their low block scoring, protecting the paint as well. She is the anchor on both ends for this team, and they're going to need her to step up the production a bit more, because she's kind of been up and down at certain points of this season, especially against some tough competition. Now, she looked good against Texas, I ain't gonna lie, and that's how they need her to play every game. They were down double digits in this one, and it got ugly for a little bit, but they scrapped, clawed, bit, fight, and got back in the game, but it just wasn't enough. Too much offense on Texas' side. But we saw what could be the possibility with a young player like KK Arnold, who has won back-to-back Freshman of the Week awards. She's a tough defender. She's somebody that can get her shot, get to the cup. You know, she's playing fearless out there. She's running the point, getting teammates involved, but these freshmen are being expected to really grow up fast right now. A lot of these players were not supposed to be seeing heavy minutes the way they are, and you can see how it's impacting this Huskies team. They are having to grow up fast, but they are getting their bumps. You know what I'm saying? We've seen the flashes. We've seen the potential, and I think in a couple months they will be fine in Big East play. Like, I think, you know, they're still the favorites. Like, I absolutely think they still have the talent to make a tournament run, but they are severely an underdog right now. And maybe that's where they need to be, because they're still figuring out their identity. Like, we know they have 2 of the best players in the nation in Bueckers and Edwards. We know that. But what is the surrounding cast around them going to do? That's the big thing. They have some pieces, though. We mentioned KK Arnold. Also, we've seen a big scoring output from Aubrey Griffin as well, the senior. They're going to have to rely on her to continue to shoot the ball at a high clip. And we saw her break out for 20 points. Like, we see them have potential with this team. Nika Moole, another player that is leading the team in assists and needs to be shooting that rock as well. I'm just saying, like, yeah, they need all the production they can get. This is one of those everybody's got to chip in for us to win type of teams right now. Now, they've got an edge. They've got fight to them. And I still trust Coach Ariyama to get it done. Now, I'm not saying that they're dead in the water. But this is the worst Uconn has been in decades. Like, they are falling to very low right now compared to their standards. Like, we are not used to seeing the Huskies licking their wounds like this and struggling, but they are limping right now. Now, they got Ball State next, so they should be able to get back on track, get some confidence back, get their swagger back a little bit. I'm thinking against them. But then they got North Carolina, a very scrappy and talented group who can blow their doors off if Uconn does not come to play. They got to show up. They got to keep fighting. They got to keep scrapping. But they are relying heavy on 4 freshmen right now that, other than probably KK Arnold, a lot of them weren't expecting to see, like, the minutes that they're seeing right now. And it's tough. They're having to grow up fast, especially when you play 3 top 5 teams in the first 2 months of the season. I mean, it's brutal, but I think this will be good for them. They're taking their lumps now. You better get Uconn right now while they're young, while they're still learning, because they're going to look a lot different in a couple months. Come January, I think you got to watch out for Uconn. I think they're going to be making a run. I think Bueckers is going to be in the conversation still for Player of the Year. She's getting better with every game. We've seen her continue to cook. And she's just got to have the players around her to make shots and free up some space for her, because she's facing double teams nightly, triple teams sometimes against Texas. I mean, they were swarming her every time she touched the ball. They need other players to be able to make shots and be somewhat of a scoring threat for this team to really reach that next level. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about the situation. Holler at me in the comments and let me know what the deal is with those Uconn Huskies. That's a wrap for us. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest. I'm Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Until next time, hey, we out.